Good morning. Quiet week. Just shut the birdies up from outside. There we go. So let's have a look at Irish Premier Division, First Division, where we looked at the challenge tables yesterday as a quick indicator. So first cue, this early stage of the season, of course, the pre-match odds give you an idea. This suggests it's too tough to call. 1.3 suggests we've got a slant towards the home side, with Sligo Rovers scoring first. That was your first angle in. Possibly, again, Sligo Rovers scoring second would be another potential angle in. But you can see early season, market's not quite got a handle on these favourites, has it? Yet again, 1.7. Looking at Shamrock Rovers and Shelbourne, this is a top two clash, so therefore, why on earth are Shelbourne 4.75 outsiders? It's this stage of the season, I just can't trust the market. 3 consecutive wins coming into this, and you're 4.75 outsiders against a side with 3 losses in the last 5. Well, take off yesterday's loss. That would have been only 1 win in the last 4, despite being third in the league. So very strange market. Don't forget, you don't have to agree with the market. That's why we do research. I wouldn't have laid, well, it was a penalty, so arguable you could have possibly taken on Shelbourne, but it is what I call a derby-style match. Early season top 3. Obviously there for a good reason. Take 3 points away from this lot, that's down to 33, and it's very tight, isn't it, prior to the match. So difficult one, that. Derby-style match, and watch out for those words in the coupon. It suggests it's not all as clear-cut as the market suggests it might be. Cork and Treaty, poor performance from Cork. Did they equalise after conceding first? No, they didn't. And again, a penalty for a 1.25 favourite. All they could score is via a penalty. And we're having this trouble in the Norwegian lower tier, Swedish lower tier, and in the Irish lower tier as well. Just this lack of confidence that these odds are an accurate reflection of what these sides can do. We've got Kerry winning as well yesterday, so it's all very bizarre. Genoa and Bologna, it's a dead rubber. And as you know, with dead rubbers, and these dead rubbers, no angles at all. Can you trust these sides if Granada scored first, for example? But this is emphatic performance from Girona. And those of you who kept faith with the 20-minute rule, you'd have been very well rewarded with a 3-0. That is equivalent of about a 12-1 return if you stuck with that 20-minute rule. But I wouldn't have put that forward for you, given the fact it was a dead rubber. Girona got absolutely nothing to motivate them. Apart from, I suspect, just an increase in their potential their finishing place. Not last place, finishing place. Third, for example. They'll be delighted with that. That's the best they can do now. With a top 3 berth, superb result for Girona. They are an offshoot of Manchester City. That's probably a good reason why they're suddenly in the top 3 in Spain. These are the big guns in Sweden. The 2 sides who finished top 2 last season. And again, 1.22. This is what you expect. Far too efficient, I'm afraid, yesterday, Malmo, to get us anything. Botheim, hat-trick before half-time. That's quite something. Elfsborg stumbled a little bit. 2-0, not quite in keeping with 1.36. All second-half goals, and one of them in the 89th minute. So yet again, we've seen it today already in this review section. The market's not quite getting these correct, is it? Or rather, we're not getting our expected performance from these ultra-short odds. That's what we're flirting with in these early stages of the season. Those were the main matches yesterday. We have a look on to today. Longford and Co Bramblers, 2.42 the favourite. So already you've got an idea here If you wanted to play these 2.45, the favourite matches, then I would highly recommend, as I showed you yesterday, go to the Irish First Division at fcstats.com and have a look at the challenge table. It will give you an indicator of how these two have performed so far this season. Longford and Co-Ramblers. It'll tell you where they are in the league. There's the match. It might give you a look in. You can automatically see that the only time that Longford have come alive really is come against the bottom three at home. So that's automatically telling you this lot tend to struggle. Where's that second goal as well? But they're playing the Co-Ramblers, got a 1-1. They did beat 8th and 9th, so possibilities they could perform better against 7th. Co-Ramblers on their travels, well, they're picking up wins away from home. 3 defeats, one of them against Treaty. So they look well placed to get a potential positive result today against bottom side Longford. You can see both teams are scoring as well in all matches against 6th and lower. That might give you an angle in today. But don't forget, 2.42, the favourite, is giving both teams a chance. Juve and Monza. We'll be looking at the standings. And you'll see a lot of these arrows, which means that business has been concluded for the top 5. There's absolutely nothing really to motivate Juventus, apart from the possibility of going top 2. But that's with a match. Well, they've got today's match. No, this is the last match, I believe. So they can't move. It's a dead rubber for them. Monza, where are they? 12th place, not going to be relegated, not going to be going into Europe. Dead rubber. Please be wary with that, okay? So 1.36, suddenly I'm not as enthusiastic with those odds. AC Milan against Salernitana, this is based purely on Salernitana being relegated and just pants, basically. They are down. AC Milan, as you know, job done. So another dead rubber. It's all about whether there's motivating for AC Milan at the last match of the season. Emmen and Nat Breda, 2.35 the favourite. Again, not the most compelling market. This is the second leg. It's 1-1 from the first leg. So all to play for both these two sides. Just have a quick look. Are they both from the Eredivisie? Looks as if they are, yeah. And we've got Excelsior and ADO Den Haag. 2-1 to Excelsior from the first leg. And so they're carrying on their good end, well, reasonable end to the season. They didn't really have a prayer last match of the season. I think they were away at Feyenoord. Really difficult last match of the season for Excelsior to get anything out. But they got this relegation playoff. They are winning from the first leg, scoring the first 2 goals. So I think they're going to be quite confident here coming into this second leg with home advantage. A 0-0, of course, will suit. But I don't think they want to risk a 0-0. If you look for the win, take it home. So this looks good for Excelsior today. ADO Den Haag must score the first goal. Otherwise, they're going to find themselves in a spot of bother. Both teams tend to score in ADO Den Haag matches of late. As you can see there, quite a strong pattern. Not necessarily with them winning, though. That's the concern for ADO Den Haag today. It looks, I think, it's the last day of the season. We can check quickly here. In Spain, Spanish Primera Liga. Good website, this, fcstats.com. If you don't have a challenge table at soccerstats.com, you'll find them here. So we just check here. Last day of the season. Yeah, just the 1 match remaining. So all about standings. So let's have a look. As you know, the top 6 already job done today. Can't be caught. And if we look at the base, we've got the 3 relegated sides already relegated. So this is a coupon full of dead rubbers. Unless, no, there's still, this is the only squabble. Well, Girona can't get into second, so that's irrelevant. Absolutely nothing for anything to play with today. dead rubber all the way through. Okay, be very, very careful. Who's going to be busting a gut to get the win, having conceded first? So I may do the research for you. Back in the old days, I wouldn't touch these matches research-wise at all. I would just leave a note saying it's a dead rubber. So I've just added a little bit extra for you. You might find some trading angles in this research here, particularly at the base. Okay, but please put into the context that they are all dead rubbers. In the Allsvenskan today, 2.2 the favourite and 2.15 away favourite. Not the most appealing coupon today. Again, if you want a very quick look at these early season matches, this is your website, fcstats.com. Just move that down. We can look at Gaius and Häcken. Home form for the home side, away form for the away side. Good season for Gaius. As you can see, both teams tend to score, though, in their wins. They've scored 2 goals in all 4 wins. Just that 0-4 loss to Bromma. They look well placed, don't they? They're playing 5th in the league today. They're beaten 4th and 6th. They're not going to be fearing Häcken. 3 out of 4 defeats have been 1-0 away defeats as well for Gaius. Häcken, away from home, conceded 3 goals against the top 8 so far. That doesn't augur well for them today. They start coming alive away from home against 11th and lowest. So just that very basic look at research is telling us that Gaius look well placed at home, don't they? Could be their opponent, Häcken, label if leading. Mjällby and Djurgården. Well, Djurgården, very, very solid at home, particularly in the last match. But it's Mjällby's turn to be at home today, and they're unbeaten so far, but they've not yet met the top 6 at home. So that does need a context, doesn't it? Early season. We don't know how they're going to perform at home against the top 6. This all looks very, very solid stuff, but they're playing the big boys now. The second best form side this early season they're playing today. Djurgården away from home and playing 4th, have not played the top 8 yet away from home. This is what I call gaps in form. We've got absolutely no way to gauge this match today. So just please be careful with Mjällby and Djurgården. That's why it's 2.15 the favourite. Anything else stand out? Well, we've got Karagümrük and Sivasspor. I will be up and around throughout the day, but I'm sorry it's been a quiet week. I'm not going to be sending you trades just for the sake of it, okay? This is a transition from the Elite League season, the usual August to April season. Now we've got the summer leagues. They're early, they're young. There's lack of form lines, as you can see, and the market's not getting it right either. You saw a good few examples earlier on in this video. The market's not getting it right. So we've got all sorts of obstacles to our trading successes this early season. But we do have French Open on Sunday, which I'll talk about. And we've got the Euros coming up as well very soon. Smattering of other matches. Ghent odds on today. Mechelen odds on. 7:30 in the Julep League Conference League playoffs. FA Cup final today. You know very well. You saw Atalanta by Leverkusen. Anything can happen. Man United are coming into this on the back of a couple of consecutive wins, which will be a positive for them. But then Man City are showing everybody how to consistently win. Local derby. Not going to be trading this at all. Arguably, if Man United score first, that will be our only real trading angle today. But it is what I call a derby-style match. Don't be surprised with a surprise. HJK Helsinki against Ilves. And again, early season. Do use FC Stats. Let's have a look at HJK against Ilves. HJK, not the side of old. Normally, title contenders, but they're having an awful start to the finished season. Let's have a look at HJK. Don't think they can be quite relied on just yet. They're playing Ilves today, who are top of the league. And notably, HJK have already lost to early season 2nd and 3rd. So they do look vulnerable today in playing top of the league. But that said, top of the league have not played the top 4 yet, home or away. So they could, Ilves, be top of the league because they've picked up big results against those outside the top 5. So that needs a context as well. Why Ilves are top of the league. They haven't played any title contenders, home or away. So potential opportunity for HJK today. But notably, they've got those 2 defeats against top sides already this season. So they could struggle against first in the league. So it's a difficult match to unpack, this one. Coupe de France and Paris Saint-Germain are likely to get the results. It's all very boring, a bit like the Premier League. The side with the money wins everything. Bayer Leverkusen, fresh off the Europa League defeat against Atalanta, which was a brilliant managerial display from Gasperini for Atalanta, doing what he did to Liverpool and inflicting the only defeat of the season for Leverkusen. Expect them to fight back today against the second tier or even lower tier Kaiserslautern in the DFB Pokal, which is the German Cup. Panathinaikos at 6:30. I'll be up and around for a few of these matches. I hope we can get some trading done today. But you've got to be patient this early season. Maccabi Tel Aviv, Maccabi Haifa, all hail to the ale, Hapoel Beersheva. 3 of my favourite teams at 4:30 in the Ligat Ha'al. We've got Cremonese and Catanzaro in the Serie B playoffs. Is this first or second leg? First leg result is a 2-2. So all to play for here today. Any real story behind that 2-2? Was it a comeback? Indeed it was. It was a 0-2 lead for Cremonese. Catanzaro scoring 2 goals to get them back into it. So watch out for that potential pattern today. 7:30 kickoff there in Italian Serie B. Fredrikstad and Tromsø in the Norwegian Elite Serie, and it's a very contrasting set of form lines early season, isn't it? Third in the league, Fred, only lost to first in the league. Plenty of goals in them at home. Highly unlikely to go unbeaten based on that. And if you look at Tromsø, heavy defeats against the top 5 away, playing third today. Doesn't augur well for Tromsø today. The market, 1.7 the favourite for Fred. That could be a bit of value at 5 p.m. So last day of the season in the Polish extra class, I'll be around for that. It's at 4:30. Again, you've got our usual tactics. We only focus on need, and we are flexible enough that the need might change as the goals come in. So the first thing to look at is business has only been concluded really for Legia Warsaw, but that's a bit weird with Lech Poznan with a win, and if this lot lose, they could take their place. So that's not guaranteed. So it's a bit too premature unless they know something I don't. So title Jagiellonia and Slask Wrocław will be fighting it out for the title, and quite simply Slask must do more than Jagiellonia. Jagiellonia only need to mirror what Slask are doing, and with that positive goal difference they will be champions. New champions this season. Rakow, the old champions, are down here in 6th. Relegation dogfight. Korona Kielce, Water Poznan, unpronounceable name, and Radomiak Radom are still involved. If Radomiak Radom lose today and Korona Kielce win, look at the goal difference. So plenty to interest us today, but please remember, title contenders, just focus on the matches with teams with need. Radomiak Radom, I think those were the ones. We've got a couple of others, but ignore dead rubbers in the last matches of the season. Portimonense and AVS. It's strange to see AVS in the relegation, so I don't understand that. Oh, this is this is AVS from the Portuguese second tier, playing Portimonense, I think, from the first tier. Let's have a look. Yeah, La Liga Portugal. Liga Portugal 2. AVS have been the standout side for me trading-wise this season. They've been very reliable. but my natural instincts would be towards the side from the Primera Liga. After all, they've played better quality sides every single week for a whole year. Surely they'll have learnt something from that. Scottish Cup. It's the Old Firm derby. Let's have a look at recent Old Firms. You might want to look at cards, booking points, if that interests you. But looking at recent head-to-heads, Celtic have been the dominant force here. They're unbeaten in the last 4 head-to-heads. Scoring 2+ goals as well, Celtic, in the last 3. So if Rangers score, Rangers might be vulnerable, particularly if Rangers score first. Moving on down, I think that will be it for today. Swiss Super League continues. Young boys, when they're odds on, tend to be very reliable at 7:30. Hoping for a bit of that this evening. And that will be it. There'll be no live stream today, I'm afraid. You know the usual live streams. We've got wonderful set 3 o'clock kickoffs. The kickoffs are all over the shop. I would prefer uniformity if getting involved with the live stream for you. But I will be on Telegram for you throughout the day. And as ever, this early stage of the summer leagues, don't expect an avalanche of trades, please. You've seen yesterday the market's getting these woefully wrong. And even with our odds on favourites today, they are with teams like Juventus and AC Milan, got absolutely nothing to motivate them, apart from this being the last match of the season. Spanish La Liga, absolutely nothing of interest there today. They are all dead rubbers. Please remember that. We don't have our usual need for wins. And the Allsvenskan looks tough today as well. So I'm hoping there'll be a trade or two. I'll be around for you, but I can't promise anything. Let's have a look at tennis. This is the quiet before the storm. It's tomorrow where the French Open really gets going. And I'll start trading tomorrow. I'll start putting up some football, some tennis writings for you today and tomorrow. I will be very careful with this Novak Djokovic lad. A couple of recent defeats for him, including, I think, yesterday. The young whippersnapper, Machak and Tabilo. He's losing to 25th in the world and 44th in the world. This is not Novak Djokovic of old. So to be very careful indeed. So watch out. Don't expect. But for me, I'd be laying all day long at these odds. Called a Yaz trade. The only way is up for a 1.03 shot. 1.1 shot as well. In a Grand Slam as well. There's our Chris Eubank. Very nice to see you. 1.03. Got to be laid. Chris Eubank was quite good in another Grand Slam last season. He overperformed. I think it was at Wimbledon, wasn't it? So old Chris with his monocle coming up from Brighton on his big truck might get a result. Or make Yannick Sinner work for his money. So I'll be involved in that tomorrow for sure. 10 a.m. kickoff. Unlikely to be uniform 10 a.m. start. Don't forget in the men's game, it's first to 5 sets as well, which makes things interesting. Particularly if an underdog's leading 2-0. It's not game over. So have a great day today. Sorry there's no live stream, but I will be on Telegram for you all day long. I've got to tread very warily at this stage of the season. You can tell, as I've said in the video, the market's getting it wrong. That makes life difficult because I do like to rely on the market's conclusions, but they got them all pear-shaped yesterday. So I wonder if that will be the case today. Don't forget, nothing to play for in Spain. See you throughout the day.